April is Autism Acceptance Month. About 1 in 44 children in the United States are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder every year. We're joined this morning by Mayo Clinic social worker Janice Schreier. Good morning, Janice.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So just start by, kind of explaining what autism spectrum disorder is and how it affects individuals and their families.
Sure. Autism is a spectrum disorder that is a developmental disorder. It impacts social interactions, communication, and behaviors. In my practice, I see a lot of kids with autism that struggle with the prominent symptom of regulating emotions. They have a lot more trouble regulating emotions, so they get more angry, have more outbursts, temper tantrums. They struggle with transitioning, new situations, new people. Of course, these difficulties make it harder for families, and they make it harder for peers and teachers to get along with them.
And so what should parents do if they suspect their child might be on the spectrum?
The first thing I always recommend is getting together with your pediatrician or with your primary care physician so you can rule out other things. Things that we might see with autism spectrum disorder are gastrointestinal disorders or sleep disorders. Sometimes we see seizures. We want to rule out these things before diagnosing autism. The other thing is ADHD is very common with autism. There's a lot of overlapping symptoms between the two. So we want to get a good developmental assessment by your pediatrician.
Okay. And then how can parents help their kids?
This is a great question because there are things that can be done to help with autism, and one of these is learning some of the skills. So if you have a child that's struggling with behaviors or social interactions, learning specific skills will help them adapt better to society.
Okay. And there is a group locally that can help, that parents can attend and children, or tell us a little bit about that group.
Well, there's a number of different resources in our community. One of them is the La Crosse Area Autism Foundation. This is a social networking group. You can go on social media and locate this group. We also have the Autism Speaks, which is a national organization. What's great about Autism Speaks is you can get a great toolkit and learn more information for children and adults with autism.
Okay, and so autism awareness has grown significantly in recent years. Even on social media, I think that's played a big role in it. So I think that's leading to adults getting diagnosed later in life. Are there resources for maybe newly diagnosed adults, or what's the guidance there?
The first thing I tell families is to get a hold of Aging and Disability Resource Center, because your county is going to be aware of all of the services. A great service we have in our community is Great Rivers 211, and that's able to connect families and people with autism with other services.
Okay, and any other local services? I know you touched on a few already.
UW La Crosse has this great workshop every summer, and it teaches parents and family members, teachers, therapists, anyone who's interested, more about practical strategies for helping people with autism.
And I'm sure an autism diagnosis or going through the evaluation, even thinking your child has it, is, it's not easy for parents. So what would you say to someone who's just kind of starting this journey with their child?
I would advise them to get connected with other families that are also struggling with autism. I think when you get that diagnosis, you think it's the worst thing ever, but there are some great resources, and there are things that you can do to improve the symptoms.
Okay, great. All right, Janice, well, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Great, thanks for having me.
No problem, and we're back after this. Stay with us.